Hi, everybody. My name is Alexis Lawrence. My user group is users of erotica and sexually explicit material. I wanted to discuss a little bit about what actually is erotica, and it's defined as works of art or literature that deals with sex and are meant to cause sexual feelings, erotic work. It's considered literary or artistic works having an erotic theme or quality. Who uses this material? There are many different types or forms of erotica or sexually explicit material. Some erotica can include M&M, which is male and male fiction. Um, it can include bondage, um, also different types of romantic pairings. Erotica can also be in the form of pictures or art. The material tends to reflect a personal interest. So a lot of times, or what I've noticed within the research, is that um, people tend to like to group erotica as, in the lesbian gay community, or um, bondage and S&M. But the idea is that erotica includes many things, and people tend to have many different interests. And when we look at this material or ordering it for our libraries, we want to make sure that we include material that reflects all of our users and not just a specific group. Erotic museums in Amsterdam. This picture is shown as part of the collection in the Erotic Museum within the Red Light District in Amsterdam. The picture is just one of many different types of erotic art that is on display. Erotic art is another form of erotica that can be found within libraries. There are many books with these types of illustrations included. Some issues faced that I noticed within the different scholarly articles is whether the collection of these books should be maintained or obtained, and where should they be housed, within public open stacks or a private rare special collection. The idea is that with these images and pictures, most times you tend to find this information in universities as opposed to within a public library setting. You tend to find more universities with erotica material and collections as opposed to a public library. You may even find a collection of Playboy magazines, and you may not think that it holds a purpose to collect Playboys, but it's part of our history. It's part of, magazines. What's the difference between having a Playboy as opposed to the New York Times? Some popular literary works that we have seen right now is 50 Shades of Grey, as well as Zane's Sex Chronicles. You can find 50 Shades of Grey. It's a movie that should be coming out soon. Zane's Sex Chronicles is showcased on Cinemax. She also has another literary work called Addicted that's coming out to theaters soon. And more people are getting interested in erotica because of these titles that are being made into movies. So some common issues that you might find with the expansion of erotica within librarians is their embarrassment over having these materials within the collection, their own morals, religious views, or personal feelings towards these materials. Some issues librarians have is how to house the collection, whether it's open to the public or it's going to be in a private area under lock and key, in which your users have to specifically come to you to obtain these materials. Another thing is how to develop the collection. Do we limit it to a specific group of books, or do we open it up to a variety of different items? What type of format or levels to offer access? Should we keep our literary material in ebooks? What we've noticed is that there is a larger trend from the research in ebook usage because it gives our patrons a sense of privacy. That sometimes with this material, it's harder for them to come to librarians to use or find these materials, and it's easier for them to look up the information that they want on their own as opposed to having to go to someone. A lot of times within the library, we do not have the type of material that they're looking for. Some censorship by librarians will create a lack of product. And the attitudes of patrons and administrators is also something that librarians have to deal with when they try to use this material in a collection. Whether or not patrons want this material banned, if they have their own specific views on sexually explicit material and they have issues with their children having access to it, if children should be allowed access to it, if there should be some type of stipulation in the collection policy that would prevent children or librarians from ordering or viewing this material. Another issue with discussed with patrons is that some patrons may be embarrassed by checking out this material. They may not want to be judged or viewed, and our expressions as librarians will affect, how a patron feels about, checking out this material. Also, the lack of availability of the material and books they are interested in. There could be limited access of a specific type of book. They could be looking for maybe female male interaction, and we may not have these type of books within the library system. They could be looking for a group of short stories or collections or a specific author, and we don't have access to the material because we have not ordered it and moved it into our collection. Censorship by the public. Our patrons also have to look at how others may view them going into the collection and picking up these materials. And we also have to look at their privacy as readers. Some suggestions that I found within the literary works and articles was the creation of a pamphlet, a list of different books within the different genres that our readers or our users could look at and find of interest. Maybe inserting a bookmark with these read-alike titles inserted into the book so that they have other suggestions. Also, when using ebooks, we can do, if you like this book, try these other titles. We may want to consider, being more open with our users and our patrons within the library and creating displays of popular erotica. We might want to list different erotic titles and categories for patrons on our library website if they want more privacy. We might want to consider doing a book talk or a book club, either in the library or online, based on our patrons' own personal feelings about their information or what their interests are being open to the public. And these are a list of different references that, I came across with this information.